Why are there so many candy canes at Christmas? Can the elves not walk? What kind of genetic experiments did Santa perform to get the reindeer to fly? Answers to these questions and more on this episode of This Paranormal Life! Ho, ho, ho! And welcome!
Merry Christmas!
To this I'm hosting, all right? All right. I've been waiting all year to say that.
I didn't realize.
Can we start again? Because I really need to get the...
Because I said Merry Christmas?
Yeah, that was kind of the...
You can still say
big
it.
payoff. Merry Christmas. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel,
yeah.
I don't feel very jolly anymore. So
I mean, usually people say Merry Christmas back to, so it's like it's not usually ever just
you said,
one
you said to the audience. I was trying to say to the Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome to This Paranormal Life in a very festive edition. We are. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can see that we are. I look like a asshole. I'm wearing a Christmas jumper. I've been cajoled into wearing a Christmas jumper. Rory's got his beautiful Guinness Christmas jumper.
Both of ours are booze themed because I have a Guinness Christmas jumper and you have one that says rain beer.
Yeah.
With a reindeer's head shaped like a Corona.
Bringing it back from last year's Christmas special. Guys, it is Christmas Eve. And you are listening to This Paranormal Life. What else would you be doing on Christmas Eve? The weekly comedy podcast where every Tuesday we get into a different paranormal tale, deciding by the end whether it's festive or not. Rory, how are you doing today?
This is a present that's come early. You don't have to wait till tomorrow morning for the man to come down the chimney. We're giving you a present now. And that's in the form of a brand new podcast from your boys, investigating some spooky, maybe festive, paranormal phenomenons.
Yeah. Is this episode like getting socks for Christmas? A thing that you just
didn't ask for,
get kind of throughout the year anyway.
Right.
Can easily buy on your own at any time. Sure. Little bit.
Yeah.
But are socks completely necessary? Yes.
True.
Really useful.
Also, yeah.
And comforting.
So there's a lot of plus sides to socks. I think.
Socks are a great gift. Rory, I think before we go any further into the episode, of course, I have a fantastic brand new investigation for you today. Let's just start with a gift swap. Let's get into it because it is Christmas Eve after all. I don't know if we're going to see each other any closer to Christmas than this, so let's just do it. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. I didn't know this was happening.
So, I've got Rory's gift here and...
okay, you blindsided me a little bit with this one. I didn't know we were doing gifts. So, well, yeah, sure.
Sorry,
well, okay. No, I'll take it.
Why wouldn't we do gifts?
I don't know. I'll take the present, though.
Well, no, I don't feel like...
Hand me the present.
Yeah, I don't feel like...
I'll take it.
You didn't get me a gift then? Because this might be for Phil.
Well, I didn't...
This might be for Phil, depending on your answer.
Your gift is still on its way.
Right.
Because old St. Nicholas will be coming down the chimney tonight. Maybe he'll have something in his sack. But in the meantime, give me the present.
But I got to go home
me that present.
and spend Christmas with my family, so I don't think we're going to see each other, so I don't know.
We might.
Yeah.
We might if you're a good little boy, but if you'll be bad if you don't give me that present now,
okay.
I think.
All right, well, look, good. Hey, I'm only razzing you because at the end of the day, look, and before I hand this to you, I just want to say I really wanted to get you a gift, you know, kind of irregardless of whether you got me one because, you know, you're an awesome friend, man. And I just...
Well, this makes me feel worse.
Really, I just really care about you and just wanted to, you know, give you a little bit of Christmas cheer, you know, whatever way I could, I guess. Because I really care about you, man. I really do.
It's wrapped in a weird way. It's kind of just smushed with the paper. So, all right. So what did I get here? So, okay. All right. So Kit got me 2 Christmas ornaments for a tree.
Yeah, man. I just really care about you, man. So I just want to make sure.
One is an old man naked with his dick in a Santa hat.
It's Santa.
The other one is an old lady naked.
Mrs. Claus.
That's Mrs. Claus?
It's Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Why are they naked? Why can I see their ass and titties?
Because...
What? That's not festive.
No, she's covering her titties, isn't she?
Yeah, but her trousers are down. Wait, she's not wearing trousers. She's wearing shoes but no trousers?
It's like a cheeky, fun, festive gift.
Where did you get these?
From my uncle.
These feel illegal to have.
He whittles them.
I don't like touching them. That's, yep, and there's the ass. I just turned it around. There's the ass.
Aren't they cute?
Cool. I feel less bad now about not getting you anything. I don't think we need to show anyone those. That's fine. Yeah, I can't say that I'm going to put these on the tree. I want you to know that.
That's more than fair.
Probably not going on the tree. My mom would probably have a heart attack if she saw these. Wow. Thank you, Kit. I'm feeling slightly less festive than I was before, but still feeling very festive. because I'm excited. As you said, it's Christmas Eve. I'm going to just put these out of sight because they're really distracting me. Throw them down there, and that's good. That's great. Now, thank you. Thank you. You know what? I might give those to Phil. I think he also would appreciate them, so that seems like a good idea. Well, Kit, I've actually got a pretty good reason why I didn't manage to get you a gift this year. And I don't want to ramble too much at the start of the podcast because I know we like to get straight into things, but I did do something very exciting this week. I literally just got back only a few days ago from running my first ever marathon.
Wow.
I didn't realize until...
Moving on. Let's jump into...
I didn't realize until today that I hadn't actually mentioned it once on the main podcast. I think I talked about it on the after party once.
Yes.
But then we got to this point and I was like, no one actually knows that I'm doing this. I signed up for my first ever marathon in Hawaii.
Isn't that crazy?
Wild.
So, hey, congratulations are in order. I literally haven't seen... I got here a couple of hours ago to the studio.
Thank you.
And I haven't even officially said congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I was texting you while you were away, being like...
Mostly work stuff.
You forgot to do this.
Yeah.
You
kind of nagging me and things.
I kind of... Because I saw you throw up the story of like you holding a medal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to let that slide. I'm going to... Rory, you forgot to clean out the fridge before you left the studio on Thursday. So
you've got a bronze medal in replying to emails, buddy. How about that? No, it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was hard. I got to say, way harder than I thought.
Did you cry?
I tried. I got to the finish line.
The gel came out.
I got to the
chocolate flavored
finish
gel.
line and I saw it in front of me. And the 5 months of training now were actualized in a single moment of crossing a finish line. And I felt myself going to cry. Unfortunately, at that point, I had no liquid left in my body. So instead, I was just kind of making wincing faces like... but nothing coming out.
You sounded like a seal.
But it was an interesting first marathon because, you know, you've run a few marathons in your life, Kit. You know that one of the things they say is on the day of the marathon, don't change a single thing.
Don't do anything different.
No.
On race day. Right. Whatever you've been doing has been working. So
right.
Don't change anything.
Don't change a single thing. If you eat a banana before every run, eat a banana. Don't eat an apple.
Exactly. If you don't normally drink water during the run, don't start drinking water. Things like that.
Exactly. And I had planned this. I'd planned it meticulously. So much so that the week beforehand, I was eating rice cakes to track my carb intake so it would be maxed out for the time of the race.
Right.
I put extra safety pins in my bag just in case I lost some or couldn't find them when I arrived at my destination. So I was ready down to the pin.
This is you talking to the race director. He's like, my guy, the starting time was 30 minutes ago. Start running. You're like, no, you don't understand. So I got extra pins.
I got rice cakes and pins.
Stop eating rice cakes and run, my dude.
So I was ready. I've been training for so long. We get the flight over there. British Airways lost my bag.
Oh.
Lost my entire bag. Lost my shoes, my shorts, my top, my vest, my gels, my water bottle, my socks, boxers, everything, all of my gear that I've been running in.
Everything but the clothes you were wearing on the flight and maybe your Steam Deck.
Yeah, exactly. My Nintendo Switch. And it was looking like I was going to have to run it in a pair of Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't happening.
Not what they were designed for.
So the day before the marathon, I walked about 20,000 steps all around downtown, buying everything from scratch, having to buy shoes, shirts, all this gear I've never used before, gels I'd never even tasted before, and had to use them all for the first time on marathon day at 5 a.m. to run 26 miles.
Hell yeah. There's nothing more American, by the way, than a 5 a.m. start time.
That was pretty cool.
I don't think that's how anything works in Europe.
Right. No one is up before 8.
I've run a number of races. I don't think any have started before 9 a.m.
No.
I might be tripping.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's a heat thing. Because it would be way too hot if you started at like midday. It'd be way boiling. So that was hard. That was really difficult. But then luckily, ran the marathon, got my medal, enjoyed the rest of my vacation. The bag did arrive the day after the marathon, which was great. And then had a really nice time, flew home, lost my bags on the way back.
No?
Yeah,
Really?
they lost them again on the way back. I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Which is so crazy because I've always been fascinated by the bag losing thing. Americans talk about it a lot. It's never happened to me in my life.
This is my first time.
And
back to back.
It has to be an American thing when you're taking internal flights within America.
Right.
I don't know why. It's never happened to me ever in my life. Otherwise.
No clue. The invention of air tags has helped quite a lot because I had one in my bag, so I could always see where it was moving.
You're having to tell the airline where your bag is?
Genuinely.
They were like, help a brother out. Help a brother. We're going to be here for months.
They were like, we think it's at the departures lounge in Heathrow Airport currently. I'm like, it's in Seattle. I can see it here. It pinged 2 minutes ago in Seattle Airport.
It's on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. How did we get there?
My gels are on the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
An air tag for every gel.
Christmas is
My coconut
here.
cream goo gel was eaten in Australia.
So, isn't that the greatest gift that I can give you? Is knowing that your best friend achieved a lifelong goal?
No, I think like an Apple gift voucher or something would have been nice. But I like as well that, I should have clarified. Whenever I asked, did you cry at the race? I was actually bringing some personal experience to that, which was not, I didn't even go to crying tears of happiness. I just cried during the race when I did my first marathon.
Right, just because it was hot,
I was like,
so
I
hard.
can't do it, man.
Yeah. I got close to that as well. I texted my brother at one point and I was like, there is a 20% chance I don't do this.
Why were you texting? You're texting during the race.
I texted him. He was doing the marathon as well. I should say, that'd be weird if he wasn't. But I was texting because I didn't want to stop running. I was texting using Siri on my AirPods.
Do you know what's funny?
So by the end, I was like, Siri, new message. Text Colina. I ain't gonna make it. But now it's done and it's over with and Christmas is here and we can just enjoy it.
We really can, because there's nothing worse than going into Christmas with something like hanging over you, right? That you've got to like, imagine you had to run the marathon on frigging Boxing Day or something. So glad to know, Rory, you are decompressed. Don't switch off that noodle right away, though. We're going to need your investigative skills for today's story.
I'm like, we can finally move on. Nothing hanging over me. Still waiting on the bag. Bag is still, I think it's in North Dakota currently, but it is on the way, they've assured me.
It is the most magical time of the year, Rory, and as it happens, also one of the most paranormal. Ooh. It should be no secret, to our listeners at least, that the religious celebration of Jesus' birth, Christmas, the ancient pagan marking of the winter solstice on the 21st of December and the darkest day of the year means that the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead are at their most thin in the dead of winter. For hundreds of years, humans have celebrated this thinning of the veil by gathering around the Yule log to tell ghost stories. And today I'll be telling you the most haunting Christmas ghost story of all. One that's considered one of the most believable ghost stories ever.
Wow, okay.
All that after a quick festive break to hear some words from our sponsors. And remember, every episode of This Paranormal Life is available ad-free right now at patreon.com/This Paranormal Life. Links in the description. Our story begins in Norfolk, England during the Victorian era. Captain Frederick Marriott, a naval officer and writer, is visiting the Baron at Raynham Hall, a huge country house and seat of the aristocratic Townsend family. Even by 1836, the house is already over 200 years old and has been associated with strange, ghostly tales for years. Now, fun fact, Captain Marriott is actually a friend of the Christmas ghost story legend, Charles Dickens. But he isn't there to get some inspiration for a paranormal story. Quite the opposite. Captain Marriott is staying at Raynham Hall to disprove the ghost stories.
Ah, a little bit of a flip there. It must be hard to be a writer and have one of your buddies being Charles Dickens.
Yeah, sake.
Because you're like, I actually wrote some cool stuff too. I actually wrote about this cat that can skateboard. And the cat's name's Mikey, and he's like a really cool guy. And Charles is like, cool, I wrote kind of a genre-defining piece of literature that will echo through the ages and be immortalized in plays and films till the end of human existence.
It's like, yeah.
Cool. So Mikey, he's friends with another cat called Daniel, and he has rollerblades.
And the Mikey book has got rejected by about 15 publishers, but hey, every writer gets rejected a bunch of times before they get the deal. Charles is like, not me.
You know what I mean?
No, they pretty much picked up a Christmas Carol right away.
Yeah, they were big into the whole theme of ghosts. Mikey could have ghosts. He could be a ghost.
Yeah.
I'll kill him now in the books. Turn him into a ghost. When's yours? Christmas? I'll do Easter. He's the Easter cat. Mikey the Easter cat is the name of the book now.
That's right. Captain Marriott is trying to disprove some long-held ghost stories. He believes that local smugglers have just popularized these tales to keep people away from the area. So Marriott has asked specifically to spend the night in the most haunted room in the house to prove, once and for all, that the Raynham house has no ghosts. Rory, as a quick aside, quick pick of the house.
Nice. Old-timey mansion. It looks great. It looks like it's from a Resident Evil game.
Now, after a day exploring the house, he's just about to retire to bed when two nephews of the Baron, who are staying in the bedroom next to him, wanted to show off their new hunting pistol, fresh from London, before bed.
You see, my old pistol was quite good against a fox, but less so against the poor. A bit messy, really.
Yes, delightful arms, chaps. These guns will serve you well in the next pheasant shoot.
More like peasant shoot. Am I right?
Very good, Master Townsend.
Much obliged.
Always a quick wit.
Much obliged, Captain Marriott. But sometimes in the dead of night at Christmas here in Raynham.
Raynham.
Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yeah.
Raynham.
I mean, it's
the place we live.
Yes, it's your uncle's
That was
house.
my first
I would
time
have thought
saying
you
it
would have thought
out
you
loud.
know.
I get the sense this rifle might be more use indoors.
Oh, these ghost stories? You don't believe that old twaddle, do you?
I do.
That was the other nephew in the background. I do.
I do. He does. Ha 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 ha. It's almost midnight.
Yes, I best retire. Good night, chaps. But as the captain heads for the hallway, the Baron's nephews follow him.
We'll accompany you, sir, in case you meet the Brown Lady.
The what?
She walks the halls, sir. A lady who lived here 100 years ago or more. Especially at this time of year. You should know her, Captain. Her portrait hangs in your very room.
Ah, yes. What nonsense. Well, accompany me if you must. They wandered into the corridor together. It was dark and cold, and as they got closer to Marriott's room, they saw something strange.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Where's the rifle?
Brother, get the blicky. I've got the toolie, Master Townsend. I've got your ass covered.
Whap, 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 whap. Cousin, him up. Whap, whap, do your stuff.
Marriott's like, I don't have a fucking clue what you boys are saying. There must be black mold in the house. It's gone to your bloody head. Rory, excitingly, we actually have Marriott's account from the horse's mouth of what happened. The corridor was long and dark, for the lights had been extinguished. But as we reached the middle of it, we saw the glimmer of a lamp coming towards us from the other end. And by the way, the lamp was all it took. Marriott stopped being a badass absolutely immediately. He basically went, oh shit, jumped behind one of the bedroom doors in the hallway, and with the door open just a creak for him to still see the hallway until the Brown Lady passed them by. And the nephews copied him straight away.
This guy's a captain?
Yes.
And he hid immediately from a lamp?
Hey, everyone knows the captain just draws up the plans, brother man. You know, maybe he'll make an appearance on the front line. All right, lads, into battle, hurrah! And then they all run, and he kind of pretends to jog for a second, but you know, he lets everyone overtake him.
He's got an Uber on the way.
Yeah, get me back to the palace ASAP. Marriott would describe how he watched her, the Brown Lady, approaching nearer and nearer through the chink of the door until she was close enough for him to distinguish the colors and style of her costume. He recognized the figure as the same from the portrait of the Brown Lady in his room. He had his finger on the trigger of his revolver and was about to demand it to stop and give the reason for its presence there, when the figure stopped of its own accord, right in front of the door where he was standing. She slowly lifted the lamp to her face, revealing her terrifying features. She grinned in a malicious and diabolical manner.
Ooh.
Marriott was furious. He sprang into the corridor and discharged his revolver right in her face.
Oh my God.
The figure instantly disappeared.
Right, well, so would the head of a human if you shot that close.
No. She was gone, all right.
Disappeared into a pile of red mist.
And it was weird. Her body, like, it was like it turned her into a human because her body was still there.
Right, she was freed from the ghostly curse.
Yes.
Right.
All three men watched it happen. And Marriott would never attempt again to interfere with the Brown Lady of Raynham.
Ooh. Wow, surprised that worked. I didn't know you could just shoot a ghost in the head. Thought that would be kind of something they would be impervious to.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like any physical interaction would have dissipated. Like our ghosts, sometimes like a haze of kush smoke, you can just waft your arm through it and just kind of dissipates.
I guess.
Is it like a mist or, you know?
Right, can you just run through them and they're gone? I don't know.
Man, Marriott was really ready to shoot an innocent maid in the face, wasn't he?
Yes.
He didn't look for any proof that this was a ghost before he started blasting.
If anything, we know he didn't believe in ghosts. That was his whole thing. He was very quick to shoot a woman.
But I think, you know, yes, does this say something about women's place in society in the 1800s? Potentially. But it also says something about, Marriott's beliefs. I mean, maybe he actually believed more than he was letting on. Maybe by virtue of him going to disprove the existence of these ghosts, he was actually subconsciously trying to face his own fears about the thing. Maybe he was trying to prove to himself that ghosts didn't exist.
He shot a servant. He shot a servant in the head.
He didn't shoot a servant.
It sounds like. There's a ghost now.
I know we've done recent stories about like people being locked away, secrets, dirty secrets in castles. To my knowledge, this was not one of them.
Okay.
I think if the Brown Lady wasn't a thing yet and he was trying to make it a thing, you'll never guess what I saw last night, gentlemen. The Brown Lady, but it was already a thing.
Okay.
As we've heard, Raynham Hall had been haunted for generations before Captain Fred Marriott's visit. And it said that at Christmas, visitors to the house would see a woman with a very old brown dress and disfigured face wandering the dark corridors at night.
Ooh.
The most famous sighting of all had only taken place 1 year earlier, Christmas 1835. Lord Townsend had invited a number of guests for the festive celebrations, but by the first night, guests were convinced they had either heard or seen something in the house at night. It was at one of those dinners that a Mr. Hawkins was retiring to bed. Merry Christmas, everyone! What a lovely day. Thank you all. Now, if you don't mind, I'll take my leave. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mr. Hawkins. Good night, Mr. Hawkins. Hawkins.
Colonel Loftus, what is it, old boy?
Please, be careful up there, alone in the corridors. You know what I saw.
I know what you thought you saw, Mr. Loftus. I also know what a few too many brandies can do to a man's mind, eh? Didn't you wake up in a pool of your own piss this morning?
All right, this is scripted, by the way. I just want to make sure everyone knows. Kit wrote that line as part of it for the character.
How dare you?
The character. How dare you write that about me? How dare you? That has nothing to do with what I saw and you know it.
Look, don't worry about me, sir, and get yourself some rest. Hawkins went upstairs and the party continued. Until suddenly, a noise from upstairs cut through the festivities. Help! Help me! Help! Help! From upstairs, Hawkins screamed. Right there on the landing, just like Loftus had predicted, he had encountered the Brown Lady.
So quickly after assuring everyone it wasn't real. I think I'll be just fine. I'm off to bed now. I'll see. Jesus Christ! Boom, boom, boom. Shooting it in the back of the head.
She appeared with an oil lamp in hand, and he knew it was her when he saw the old-fashioned brown dress.
Ooh.
He said, quote, he saw the spectre's empty eye sockets, dark in her glowing face.
Jeez.
And this sighting actually caused so much upset among the staff at Raynham Hall that many resigned soon after.
Because they're tired of their colleagues getting shot in the head. They're like, the brown dress is the uniform you put us all in. You keep killing the staff. What is the, maybe we're going to get onto it, but is the relevance of this today being kind of a Christmas story that the ghost appears on Christmas?
She likes to appear at Christmas. Now, does that mean something happened to her at Christmas? Does it mean she departed this earth at Christmas? But something about Christmas itself makes the Brown Lady appear to haunt Raynham Hall.
Hey, Christmas is a great time of year. If you're a ghost and you maybe get to choose 24 hours to come back to the world of the living,
Right.
I'm not surprised all the ghosts don't come back on Christmas.
Right.
You know? It's the only time I see my uncle. He appears on Christmas, and I don't see him again.
You know a few ghosts of Christmas past.
Yeah. There's a lot of family that are essentially ghosts in my life.
Yeah.
that I
Uncle
see.
Larry, he's not welcome any other day but Christmas Day. My family tolerate him for Christmas Day.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised if ghosts are turning up to join the festivities.
Yeah. I like that angle that they might just like it. It could be to do with, at the intro, I described the kind of ancient thinning of the veil, which allows the dead to pass through to the world of the living.
Right.
Could be that too.
Could be they just want toys.
Could be they want stuffing.
Yeah.
It is f***ed up, isn't it, that we kind of relegate stuffing to one day of the year?
Well, Americans would have it on Thanksgiving as well. They get double stuffed.
Yeah, like Oreos.
But I know what you mean. It should just be a casual thing. I shouldn't be judged by society for eating a bag of stuffing with my hands.
Yeah.
That's kind of just a snack.
Well, hold on.
Like at
With
the
your hand
cinema.
makes it sound like a bag?
Yeah, just
That
like
makes
a
it sound like
sack
it's not
of
even
it.
cooked. It's dry.
But you don't have to cook it.
Yeah, it's
all
disgusting.
done, isn't it already? Like apples?
What?
You don't have to cook them. They're just
Like
ready
the
to
fruit?
go. Yeah, like stuffing. It's like apples. You just
Not really.
eat them. No? Okay.
Dry stuffing?
I think
like
I'm
ready
ill.
made? Okay.
I'm ill. I've been eating frozen stuffing by the bag for the last 2 days.
It's the best bit, let me tell you.
It really is good. Also kind of weird we put it up a turkey's ass. I'm just going
Yeah.
to say it.
Hey, don't look at me. I'm vegan. That's a you guys thing.
That is, yeah.
You guys need to reckon with that. Yes. Are vegetarian sausages weird? Is tofu weird? Is a nut roast sounds like when a bunch of your friends make fun of your penis? These are all true things about vegetarian food, but it's still not as weird as shoving stuffing up a turkey's ass, all right?
That's true, yeah. Nut roasts. They're making fun of your balls.
But Rory, it's at this point in a ghost investigation we need to start answering some questions. Who was the Brown Lady? What did she want? And, like you've pointed out, why Christmas?
Yeah.
Why not Easter? Like the Easter Cat. The
Right.
famous best-selling novel. Yes, after the guy died, it went on to become a bestseller. That's the sad thing. He was ridiculed during his life, and then
Mikey the Easter Cat.
in death, Mikey the Easter Cat.
He hated Easter, and then he was visited by the ghost of 3 mice he ate. Teach him the error
Mice,
of his
they're not
ways.
even bunnies.
I don't know.
Well, on this Paranormal Life, usually when we're trying to identify a ghost and match them to a once living person, we usually find ourselves looking for tortured individuals, right? People who had miserable lives and then returned to the present world to become of some injustice or some suffering. Well, in the history of Raynham Hall, there's really only one possibility. Dorothy Walpole.
Well, you said there's a painting of her. It's not a mystery. You said she's got a portrait on a wall.
But the portrait could be of just the Brown Lady. Like, they're like, hey, we don't know who it is.
They painted the ghost? They've seen the ghost so much they painted her? Why would you hang a painting of a ghost on the wall?
That's actually an awesome point you made. It's an awesome point. It's a big plot hole. It's a big old plot hole. Damn. Skimming over that. Dorothy's life started off well, at least. She was born into aristocracy and privilege. Dorothy was right at the heart of the British society. Her brother Robert would go on to become the Prime Minister. But she wouldn't be so lucky. She married the second Viscount of Townsend, Charles Townsend, and moved to Raynham Hall to start a family. But soon, Charles's reputation for angry jealousy appeared.
Yikes.
When Charles discovered that Dorothy Walpole had had a previous relationship with a cheeky scamp by the name of Lord Wharton.
Ooh.
He was furious. Wharton was a man famous for his debaucherous lifestyle. Townsend couldn't handle it, and he locked Dorothy in a room at Raynham Hall, forbidding her from any contact with the outside world, and even her children.
Not cool, man.
And it's said that Dorothy died mysteriously. Some say of smallpox, Others believe she was simply pushed down the stairs in 1726.
Ooh.
Shouldn't laugh. There is even a rumor that a fake funeral was staged and she might have spent an entire lifetime locked away in her personal prison cell.
Glam's Castle style.
Glam's Castle. Glad we figured out the pronunciation of that one in the end.
Go yourself. All right.
Oh, God
I got
damn it.
roasted for that one.
Sauteed and flambéed. Now, as to why Dorothy would appear every Christmas, it's unclear. My personal theory is that must have been when she died. Or when she was locked away, meaning she kind of can't let the descendants of her evil husband enjoy Christmas. She has to remind them, the descendants, of her suffering every year by showing up. Kind of visiting the conscience of the Townsend family, a bit like Scrooge in A Christmas Carol.
Right. While they're kind of letting their guard down, enjoying their Christmas, she turns up to be like, hey, well, my Christmas was ruined.
Yeah.
By a guy who
Surprise,
sure
bitch.
is dead now, but still I want everyone to know I had a bad time.
She kind of floats in, knocks over the gravy. Oh, God damn it, Dorothy.
Right, just causing little inconveniences. Yeah.
Can someone check in the turkey? Oh, Dorothy turned up the oven. She turned up the oven. It's burnt to a cinder.
Totally done.
Ha,
She's throwing sprouts at the windows. Yeah, Christmas is ruined.
But I do love that mechanic for a ghost, like always appearing at a certain time. It's very like movie, like, you know, once every 30 years when the moon goes in front of the sun.
Right.
The spirits come to life.
I would say not a bad time to get haunted, because you're already having such a good time on Christmas that if a ghost shows up, I probably wouldn't care. You know?
I
I'm
see what
already
you're
getting presents. I'm having a good time. We're playing charades.
You're drunk. You're kind of insulated from reality.
Well, you're
That way.
certainly drunk if you're doing the Rory Powers 10 Liquid Challenge.
Okay.
Which, of course, we will talk about later on in the episode.
We can talk now about
No,
it. if you like.
it's going to be a long rant. I think we
Oh.
should save it probably for the end.
Rant?
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. So, yeah, turn up on Christmas. Let's do it. Bring all
Right,
the, invite
the
the
more the
ghosts.
merrier is what you're saying, yeah.
Absolutely.
God, well, I mean, it sounds kind of fairy tale-like and depressing, but as you say, Glam's Castle style, we know that this is how lords treated their ladies back in the day.
Poorly.
Yeah, ladies, you think the dating pool is hard now? Imagine meeting Mr. Right, and then it turns out he's Mr. Satan, and he locks you in a tower forever.
And boot you down a flight of stairs on Christmas Day. It could be worse.
But look, with Dorothy Walpole, basically the whole thing is long enough ago that there's kind of several legends and we don't know for sure. But do you think...
The painting!
Well,
There's a painting of her on the wall!
No, we know it's Dorothy. We know it's Dorothy. I appreciate the paintings of Dorothy. But do you think I'm saying we don't know why she's hanging around or why Christmas, let's say?
Yeah, I would agree. That's still a bit of a mystery.
But do you think that would do it for a ghost? Would that push you over the edge of like wanting to haunt the living?
I don't know. A lot of people die in more horrible ways than this. I don't
Right.
want to throw any shade on this particular ghost. Look, I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Oh,
I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's the elephant in the room here. Any paranormal case involving ghosts that we investigate, where you say the name of a color and then woman, I turn off. I switch
wasn't the
down
elephant
my
in the room.
little brain. No, everyone should know that. Everyone should know that. We've been doing this.
shouldn't.
We've been in this game for 7 years.
Yeah.
So if you tell me about the White Lady of X or the Blue Woman of Y, I power down like a robot because we've heard this story so many times. So now you're bringing in Dorothy. Now you're bringing in names and dates. Powering back up again because we're getting a little bit more info.
okay. So you were gone.
I was
You were
gone for large portions. So you're
Can we,
can we?
just for the YouTube audience, can we just cut in some video of Rory zoning out from earlier? Because I think we've got that on. I think we've got that in HD. And hopefully we saw that. So
Yeah, but I'm
okay.
saying I'm back in now because we're getting a little bit more deep.
Well, Rory,
Still really nothing to do with Christmas.
hopefully,
The wind tosser had more to do with Christmas than this.
I don't think that's true. A Christmas ghost that appears only at Christmas to the haunting the Christmas people on Christmas Day.
We could actually, if we've got time, we could actually talk about the wind
Stop
tosser
talking,
again.
right?
Because I got new information from Grandpa's rib ticklers
You
and
don't.
knee slappers.
You don't.
And some more information we could discuss.
Look, this next bit is gonna. You're already on. This is gonna send you into overdrive.
All right.
Okay. Because, Roy, I'm glad you're bringing it up. Obviously, we're at that point in the episode where we need to see evidence. And I guess our listeners must have been good this year because there's some evidence under the TPL Christmas tree today.
Really? Of a ghost?
Not only that, but some of the most famous paranormal evidence ever. And we're going to find out exactly what's under the tree right after a couple of words from today's sponsors. In 1936, Country Life magazine commissioned Hubert C. Provand, a London-based photographer, to shoot the house for an article on stately homes.
One more time, the name?
Hubert C. Provand.
He's a cartoon.
And after capturing lots of interior shots of Raynham Hall, Provand and his assistant, Indre Shira, set up at the bottom of the house's main staircase. They were almost done for the day and were setting up for a final couple of shots. Now, Provand was under the camera cloth adjusting the controls. Shira stood with the flash gun. But suddenly, something strange started to form on the stairway. Quick, there's something. Are you ready?
Yes,
replied Provand and removed the cap from the lens. Shira would later describe, I pressed the trigger of the flashlight pistol. After the flash and unclosing the shutter, Captain Provand removed the focusing cloth from his head and turning to me said, what's all the excitement about? Provand hadn't seen it, but Shira was convinced the Brown Lady appeared, coming down the oak stairs in front of them. When the flash gun went off, she disappeared into thin air. She said, I had distinctly seen a figure there, transparent, so that the steps were visible through her ethereal form, but nevertheless very definite, and to me perfectly real. Now, Provand was skeptical. He'd never captured or indeed encountered anything supernatural in his many years of photographing. Legend has it, he even bet Shira £5, over 400 quid today,
wow,
that when they developed the negative, it would show nothing. Well, Indra would later describe the scenes in the dark room a few days later. They said, when the negatives of Raynham Hall were being developed, I stood beside Captain Provand, and one after the other they were placed in the developer. Suddenly, Captain Provand exclaimed, good lord, there's something on the staircase negative after all.
This is such a large build-up for this photo, so this better be impressive. Wow, okay. Hey, this is a pretty cool picture. We are looking at, photo of a staircase, and there's just kind of a white patch in the middle of it where it looks like the photo wasn't really developed, but it is kind of in the shape of a figure, kind of a human figure. I guess it could be hair or a hood, coming down or up the stairs. That is a pretty cool picture, to be fair. Wow. If you don't believe in ghosts and you see that, it's gonna be a hard day to be a skeptic.
Hey, that's one of the least scathing things Roy's ever said about a photo, so I'll take that all day.
It's a good picture.
And this is, I appreciate, a bit like on the infamous Spike Island episode, the little printout I've done isn't super high def, but you gather it's an old photo, so it looks more or less like that.
I'm impressed. This is way better evidence than I thought we were gonna get. Which is a shame, because I turned off again. Like right when you were reading that, I don't even know what we're looking at. I went, as soon as you started making old-timey camera sound effects with your mouth, I was like, I'm gone. I'm back in Hawaii on the beach. But now you got me back again with the photo, and I'll stay on now. I'll try.
A bit like Rory's luggage. It's somewhere in North Dakota right now. His imagination is traveling across America at lightning speed.
Look, when you've just investigated a bunch of paranormal stories, trying to remain interested for an extended period of time is like trying to maintain an erection. Beyond 25, 30 seconds, it's borderline impossible. I need to be constantly stimulated.
Fellas, if an episode of TPL persists longer than 4 hours, consult your doctor.
You need to.
Take Adderall.
But now
you have undiagnosed ADHD. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the community has been rising up to tell Rory he has ADHD.
They have, in huge swathes.
Because you've been basically breadcrumb trailing clues of all your symptoms for years. That there's doctors in the community that are like, you are sick. You are sick in the head.
You really need help.
Because I think one day you were like, yeah, caffeine makes me calm and makes me want to go to sleep. And there was doctors just banging on the YouTube comments like, you need medication. But hey, you know, we'll take unmedicated Rory all day long because, you know, yes.
You don't want me to have my thoughts together.
He switches off every 6 minutes during a ghost investigation.
Yeah.
But when he's firing, he's firing.
Yeah. The best thing that can happen for the government is me being able to form a cohesive thought. As soon as I can, it's game over. Folks, they are lucky I get distracted.
Rory, this photograph has gone on to become one of the most infamous ghost photos in history. Maybe only behind the tulip staircase photo from the Queen's house in Greenwich. Fittingly, this photo and its story was published on Boxing Day, 1936, and it caused a publicity storm. The image appeared in Life magazine the following week and has been fascinating the public ever since. There were, of course, many skeptics regarding the image, but before we start accusing people of trickery in the lab room, there are several witnesses to the development of the image. Shira describes running downstairs to get the chemist of that photo development place, Mr. Benjamin Jones, the manager of Blake, Sanford and Blake, to come upstairs to the darkroom and verify for himself that what was on the image was purely on the photo negative. And even paranormal investigator Harry Price from back in the day weighed in on the subject, saying, "I will say at once, I was impressed. I was told a simple story. The cap was off, the flashbulb fired, and the results we now see in the photo. I could not shake their story, and had no right to disbelieve them."
It does look cool. I think, you know, we know that from paranormal evidence in old-timey photos, it is relatively easy to fake or for things to look like there is a ghost in frame, because those photos, they needed long exposure time. You know, the equipment was very rough and raw. So yes, people moving in frame, they looked like ghosts. They were blurry figures. If you just moved while the camera was being taken, you were kind of a half-faded version of yourself.
Yes.
So we see a lot of photos that look like that. I will say this photo doesn't look like that. It looks like there's like a light burn or something in the middle of the shot. It's very cool. It's quite unique.
Yeah, and maybe the only thing that's ever rattled me to do with this photo is some have said it looks maybe a little suspiciously like, let's say, a Virgin Mary statue. Do you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
You know, if you went to a Catholic church and Mary has, she specifically has that kind of like, a veil, essentially, you know, which gives her this kind of, which is why it doesn't really look like just a head. It looks like a head with a veil.
Yeah.
That is maybe the only criticism. But again, that would require a pretty skillful double exposure. That would require them taking a photograph of the staircase, then taking a photo of somehow just the statue of the Mary, enough that it perfectly superimposes.
Also very cool that someone said they saw it before the photo was taken.
Right.
They were like, take the photo, there's a ghost on the stairs.
Yeah.
Before they even saw the photo. It's not like, we got them developed and then we realized later. You know, this is happening beforehand. Someone saw it.
Rory, pretty cool stuff. We've heard a little bit about Dorothy Walpole, the woman in the painting that I could have mentioned in the first sentence of the story, but I didn't. We've heard a little bit about her backstory, a seemingly convincing tale for why one might be haunting Raynham Hall, as well as multiple witnesses to the ghost. A man fired a revolver at the ghost, he was so convinced.
Forgot about that.
Might have been drunk, but I don't know. So look, should be said, controversial image, one of the best pieces, allegedly, of ghost evidence, and yet so many people don't believe in it. The skeptics are always going to skeptic, as we should here in this Paranormal Life.
Yeah.
And for some people, they were not convinced, thinking it still is that double exposure, or maybe thinking that, you know, even let's say in the moments between Shira and the captain going to get the chemist, they had already set up the photo, so then the chemist thought it was really real and he told the story to everyone.
Right.
You know, like, was there some tomfoolery? That's for us to decide, Rory, at the end of an episode of this Paranormal Life. We have to take it all into account. Do we rely on the image, or do we rely on the stories to decide whether the story of the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall and her Christmas hauntings, are they real or not?
I'm into the photo. I like the photo personally.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know enough about old-timey photography to know how easy it would be to fake something like this. So it's hard to say. I also don't know these people, what their motivations would be either way. But in terms of photo evidence of a ghost, probably up there with the top 3 we've ever received on this podcast before.
Right.
Slightly wish this was not related to the story we mentioned in the first half.
Sorry, why?
Because that did nothing for me, really.
You were switched off. You told me you were switched off.
I was switched off a little bit, yeah, for sure. I thought it's the same thing. Brown lady,
Can we cut back to
woman
Rory
in
zoning
white.
out?
It doesn't do anything for me. Even like the history and the tragedy is like legends and rumors. There's not any like documented proper information about the woman and how she died and when it happened or anything like that.
Well,
it's
we
kinda
know
just
she
legends
existed, and we know she died young. She died very young, 36 years old, I believe.
Yeah, but that's like old-timey money. 36 was like 103 back then.
No, it wasn't, because
Pretty
her
sure.
husband would have lived much longer. The bit that was contested was she really, and they really actually don't know this, was she really locked away? Some think she could have been, absolutely. Others say, her brother only lived maybe like 15 miles away or something. And
He should have checked on her.
And they were like, yeah, it doesn't, like, he would have known, surely. So,
Yeah.
you know, so again, that's hard to, but like, that's just how she died. She could still have haunted it.
Yeah. And I like the tie-in today to Christmas. Even if it's a bit of a
Yes.
loose tie-in, it is still quite cool thematically to have a ghost that only
It's a
appears
Christmas ghost story. It's,
Yeah.
you know what's funny is my wife Danielle she loves Christmas music. She's been listening to a lot, and the other day she had on "It's the Most Wonderful Time," and
banger.
you know, and in that song he's like listing off all the things. There'll be marshmallows toasting and hot chocolate roasting, and you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and then funny enough, I'd never noticed it before, but she like kind of screwed up her face, and she was like, "Why did he throw in?" We'll be telling ghost stories and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I can tell you because of what I said. It's an old tradition of Christmas that we've mostly forgotten about.
I love it. She's like, why are they talking about ghost stories? And you're like, do you ever listen to me when I talk about work? Because you should know, Danielle. You should know. I've told you many times about the connections between Christmas and ghosts.
I'm like, do you not like ghost stories? Is there something wrong with ghost stories being part of Christmas? Is that up to you?
Another great one is Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Right.
It really does sound like at one point in the song, the lady sings, later we'll have some pie.
Which you can't unhear.
You cannot
once you hear
unhear it. To the point where I had to like double check, like rewind the song. And I was like, did she just say we're going to have some pie?
Later we'll have some
pie. It's so hard. It's pumpkin pie is what she says. But if you go back and listen to it, it's very hard not to hear pie, which I'm all up for. That sounds way more badass. Imagine being at the dinner table and you're like, Mom, can I get a slice of pie, please?
Detention.
Merry Christmas.
Immediate detention.
But right, back to the story. Yeah, we're having a bit of a weird problem today where usually I love the story, but the evidence disappoints me. Today we're kind of having a flip of that where I love the evidence, but it's the story that kind of disappoints me.
Right. It's almost like, a restaurant where the food's amazing, but no atmosphere.
Right.
But shouldn't the restaurant be reviewed on the food?
Yeah.
Shouldn't the story?
And yet the service was bad.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? I think the waiter worked pretty hard to bring you a story today. I mean, the waiter to bring you food.
I think knowing the waiter, I think I know that he started cooking the food just mere moments ago. And it was actually kind of rushed to the table with very little prep. Yeah, the table was barely set.
But it doesn't matter because it was delicious.
The meal
it was absolutely gorgeous.
Was served kind of with as little preparation as could be done.
All right, is it a yes or a no today in the case of the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall?
Oh, even saying that pisses me off. No, it's a no. You're not genuinely surprised.
How annoying.
You can't do this.
Why no? Why
if the
no?
story is rich enough and believable enough and has enough evidence.
You're on the naughty list.
To say that it's real, we can't still be calling the thing the Brown Lady. That implies we know so little
Dorothy
about this thing.
Walpole.
Yeah, that would be better.
Want.
The ghost of Dorothy would have been a better thing.
So that would have got you. We'll call it what you want,
would have
brother.
been a little closer.
You can spank my ass and call me Sally. I'll let you call me whatever you want to get a yes.
You can serve me up on a slice of pie if you want. It's a no. I'm sorry.
You don't even have any reasoning, really. Why?
I just feel it in my heart. I know when a yes is there.
He was so close. And that's what kills me. I think he knows it's a yes, which is why I'm giving it a yes.
You're giving it a yes today? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's a good picture.
Which, you know, yes, I know there weren't any snowmen in today's case, but like I say, Dickens style. Think of Dickens. This is bringing you an old-fashioned Christmas tale on Christmas Eve, because I think it is a Christmas Eve thing. It's not really a Christmas Day thing to do the ghost stories. It's on the eve, on the twilight, on the precipice of the spiritual day itself. That's when the spirits are mingling. And I know I wouldn't want to be in Raynham Hall this Christmas.
We investigated a UFO that hit a cop car.
Yeah.
And it exploded. And you gave that a no. Yeah. But today, on the photo of a Christmas ghost being photographed by a stranger, you said it was a yes, definitively paranormal.
Look.
The brown woman.
Look.
Is a yes.
The timing was bad. The timing was real bad for your investigation.
You're like, I tuned out. I'll be honest.
A little bit. And a lot has come to light in UFO, UAP Congress disclosure from people like Luis Elizondo and other CIA insiders.
Which we've talked about on the after party recently, at length, if you're interested.
And Jesus Christ, and it's only kicking off more because we're going to need to talk about the New Jersey drones soon. It is really kicking off in UFO land.
I was a little early to the party.
I think, I hate to admit that had I been, put it this way, had you hosted that case after thousands of circular drones took to the New Jersey sky this December, yeah, my conclusion might have been different.
A little different.
Yeah.
But instead I got the no.
I was flabbergasted by the concept at the time.
Right.
And now we've got footage after footage of little balls flying through the air.
And now everyone's coming to Rory. Rory, what do we do? What do we do? How do we deal with this? You knew about this. And I'm like, well, look who comes crawling back.
I think I had to tell you about the New Jersey drones. You were in Hawaii all week.
I missed it. I missed it completely.
Look, thank you for listening, Rory. I know that took every milligram of caffeine from your Monster Energy drink to keep your noodle engaged, switched on for this case. It was a long one. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you at home for listening to this Christmas Eve special. Oh my goodness. It is our honor and privilege to be with you this festive season, whether you're tuning in right now with us on Christmas Eve on YouTube or on your podcast player.
Yeah.
Or whether you're going to kind of tune in the weird days between Christmas and New Year. We got you covered.
It's a joy to have you with us. You know, at the time this is being released, we are mere moments from Santa himself coming down the chimney, and we are also mere moments from kicking off the second year of the Rory Powers 10 Liquid Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. If you listen to the podcast, some of you might know that last year, only last year, we started a little tradition, which is a challenge for the commune and listeners of this podcast to see if they can consume 10 different liquids within the 24 hours of Christmas. This all started because it was only last year that I raised the question, is Christmas Day the day of the year where you drink the most amount of different liquids?
Right.
Because you have a lot of stuff that you usually wouldn't have. Water, for example. Wouldn't usually have that on any other day. Juice, tea, Bailey's, mulled wine, regular wine, champagne, Prosecco, lots of different drinks all together on the one day.
Weird to buy champagne and Prosecco.
So it became a big thing where last year was the first year that myself and a bunch of members of the commune decided to join the hashtag RP10LC challenge and see if they could do it. And loads of people in the commune got involved. There were threads on our Facebook group. People were posting on Instagram using the hashtag RP10LC. And it was so fun. Everyone was tracking their progress. I'm going to be doing it again this year.
Couple people died.
A few. Only a few.
But our lawyer has reminded us to say that the connection with the challenge itself is disputed. So they might, I think they had underlying conditions probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
Even though some of them weren't even doing it with alcohol.
Yeah.
One dude drowned. He just drowned. He'd never drunk that so much liquid in his life. You know, a lot of people have been asking me about the rules. And the official rule is follow your heart as it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of an honor system.
It's an honor system, self-policing. Someone asked, is gravy a liquid? No, of course not. Don't be stupid.
See, what I would say is...
That's food.
See, what I would say... I kind of agree.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, in the spirit of follow your heart and use your gut instinct, is like, oh, Is gravy a liquid? Why don't you tell me, brother? Get down on one knee and chug that boat. If you can drink it, it's a liquid. But what I'm saying is if you pour it over your dinner, no.
No. You are consuming
if you're
a liquid,
willing
but
to
still.
drink a pint of it, be my guest.
I think I actually, on Instagram, I did a story which was documenting the entire 10 liquid challenge that I did last year.
Oh, you saved it? Archived the story?
I saved it. It's a highlight. And I think I'm going to do it again this year. So if you're doing it, get involved. Tweet at us or post on Instagram with the hashtag RP10LC. And
this is so close to being a good idea. Like, I think we just need to parlay the Rory Powers 10 Liquid Challenge into raising money for like a water charity or something, right? Like there's
I
a
see
thing.
what you mean,
There's a thing there. But not this year. That's for next year. This year it's all just for fun, for bants.
That's a very sweet idea. Maybe next year we should do it as a challenge. Like, in hindsight, not that hard a challenge to consume. I don't know how many people would donate to the challenge of me drinking 10 different liquids in a day. Probably should have done something for the marathon. In hindsight, that I just did, that would have been good.
Yeah,
that's a real hard thing.
I assumed you did.
No, I actually stole a bunch of money for that.
All right.
Yeah,
we did hear you lost all your stuff, so I guess you were in need. Rory turned up to the to the YMCA. He was like, "Please, I was a charity." Clothes.
So Merry Christmas. Hope you're gonna have a great time with your family, and hope you're gonna consume 10 different liquids in 24 hours.
Yikes. Don't tell anyone Rory told you to do it. And thank you so much for tuning in this Christmas. This is not the end of this Paranormal Life calendar year. Oh no, my friends. We are back next week on Tuesday again for a big Christmas Eve look back at the year.
We don't sleep.
Nuh-uh.
We don't rest. We don't take breaks. Yes, the next week's episode is kind of a best of.
when you switch off halfway through a podcast, you don't need you done been taking a break.
I'm like the elf lord Legolas. Right. I can run with my eyes closed. I can podcast in my dreams. That's how long we've been doing this for. We're going to have a best of episode, which is actually one of my favorite episodes because I get to compile a list of all my favorite moments over the last year, hopefully some of yours too.
And with an intro from your boy, of course, checking in on New Year's Eve.
Of course. And we've got our big end of year Q&A episode. Did you already say that? I switched off.
No. Yeah, shout out patreon.com. We do need to plug it. We need to go. We're going on too long.
We're going way too long.
Patreon.com/This Paranormal Life is where you can support the friggin' show. But also,
why don't you give us a present this year for once?
All right, cool.
Actually, why don't you get us a present?
Not a bad sentiment, but the tone is all wrong.
No, I'm sick of giving. I'm sick of giving and I want to receive.
You're lounged back in your chair that the patrons paid for.
Yeah,
you
gotta paid for the chair.
You gotta
cool. The mic too.
They've been given a lot.
Actually bought me this soda.
Yeah.
Because we paid for it with a company card. So that Diet Coke is a company expense.
You should say thank you.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty chill of you. Thank you.
So thank you to our lovely patrons here.
Can't wait to see what you get me next year.
Every month.
The little bastards.
But crucially, it's not just a way of helping the show. Obviously, it's a store. That's where you can get every episode of This Paranormal Life ad-free, but also hundreds of bonus episodes of This Paranormal Life. We're talking main investigations, monthly bonus episodes. We got weekly behind the scenes on the after party. We have giveaways, merchandise, so much stuff. So look, I'm gonna come out and say, if your family are weird, we've all got a few weird family members, and you're hiding in your room over the Christmas period, you're like, super tired, gonna have a lie down. You're just trying to get away from Uncle Trevor.
Yeah.
Hit up Patreon. All the entertainment you could and your dad is hogging the Apple TV, so you can't even watch Shogun on Disney Plus like you've been meaning to. So you take the iPad upstairs, go to Patreon, in the Patreon app, or on the website, and go to This Paranormal Life.
Yeah. Alternatively, if your family are normal, but you're the weird one, you're going to love it on Patreon because there's a bunch of weird shit over there.
Oh, yeah.
You could kind of put it through the loudspeakers, trap them in a room, and force them to listen to the podcast.
So if your dad's like, you're weird, we're going for a walk, and he leaves you with the aforementioned Apple TV, navigate to the YouTube app, check out some full-length episodes
so
of
many
This
good
Paranormal
reasons.
Life. We're everywhere.
Also, if your dad says you're weird and you disagree, then you can say, you think I'm weird? Listen to these guys. Then hit play on our weirdest episodes, which are all on Patreon. You seem normal by association. And then all of a sudden, you're reunited with your father at Christmas.
And
he's like, you're not so weird after all, son. Those two boys are truly ill. A lot of great reasons to go on Patreon this Christmas.
Clearly. The link for it is in the description of this podcast. If you're on YouTube, check out the description. If you're in your podcast player, swipe up. It's under the description of this episode. Click all those links. As I say, we're going to be back next week with our best of 2024 roundup. In the meantime, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours.
Bye-bye.